Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I am doing good. Um, I'm going to start making more technology videos and other type of videos and different things. And I'm trying out a new setup with the Blue Yeti mic I have. I've had it for years, and I never was happy with how the background noise, how it picked up, and just wasn't happy with it. So I decided to get a pop filter to clean up the pop sounds and different things, and to get a foam mic. I don't know what you call it, but it goes over the Blue Yeti, the top part where the microphones are, and it cuts out the wind on it. And of course, you got to turn the gain down too, even still, because the Blue Yeti picks up a lot of noise and things. And but I think it sounds pretty good now, and I got it adjusted, so I'm happy with it. And I might use some other microphones too. I got a USB to XLR little box I bought from somebody. They didn't need it anymore, and I just bought it from them, so I might end up using that too. We'll see. And but thank you for tuning in, and I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch a lot of new videos and things, and old videos, and sometimes I preach, and sometimes I do news and tech and a lot of different things. And thank you for tuning in. I'm going to talk about today the AtGames product I bought. It's Atari Flashback 9, and I'll show you here the product. Go to our lineup on the atgames.us. I bought this today, the AtGames product. It's a Flashback 9, and it's got a HDMI out, 2 wire controllers, SD card slot. This right here, this part, this here, I don't see that this works. That's a false advertisement. I didn't see no way to load games from the SD card. SD card is the only thing it's usable for is saving the whole system or some kind of something on it. That's really useless to have the SD card slot, completely useless. And here's a picture of the box. That's the box I got. Here's the controllers here and system. It looks just like the original Atari 2600. You know, that is pretty nice to have that look. And it has instead of switches, I miss the old switches, but it has buttons on it instead of the switches. They might not even make those switches anymore, that type. Here's a picture of the menu and stuff. And here's let me see if I can pull up a games list. I don't know if it'll show it here, the PDF. But there's a games list on the AtGames site. Some of these games, I don't know. It just was unplayable to me. I really just couldn't play it at all. Some games, it was a space game I can't remember the exact name. Completely unplayable with the controllers. You couldn't do nothing at all. It just was just nothing. I mean, I don't know why they even put that game on there. It obviously wasn't compatible with their emulator system at all. And there's other games that are supposed to be with a paddle. It didn't come with a paddle. I think you have to buy that and on the website it listed for $30 for the paddle. That's high. And I was John Hancock on the YouTube channel, The Mortal John Hancock, his reviews of this Flashback 9 said that his original paddles wouldn't work on this, and it was supposed to, but he said it didn't. So you might have to buy the AtGames paddles to play the paddle games for $30. That's really high, too high in my opinion. The joysticks do look like the original Atari joysticks. I remember the Atari 2600 had a lot better response on the joysticks than these. These are just completely unusable. and Pitfall, you couldn't jump. And a lot of them had 2 barrels. You could jump over one, and it wouldn't let you jump over the other one sometimes. It was just unresponsive. The button was going down the ladder. It just, even moving the joystick, it was unresponsive. Most of the games was like that. There was only maybe one that was okay. There's that racing game. You go around the track. It was just horrible. The racing game, the horse game that you could jump over things. That was a halfway decent because you just hit the only thing you did on that, just hit the jump. That was okay on that. I come in first on that. Most of the games were just, it was just completely horrible system. It had a few glitches on the video too. That's not a huge deal because it's Atari 2600 games. It's not a really huge deal. Back then there was glitches on this stuff. There's an old racing game. I can't remember the name of it, but you night something, maybe racing, something like that. He raced at night, and it just had some things that simulated the sides of the roads, and it had cars coming, and you had to turn because of the, turn in the. I remember I had that game. I played that a lot. That and Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. But you had to turn to go around the curves and go around the people. This here, I don't know if it'd be better with the paddles, but this here, the joysticks that come with it, you just couldn't move at all. You could move on one side and it wouldn't move to the other. And it would either move one way or another, not halfway. You couldn't do it in the middle. You just either one way completely or the other way completely. So you get crashed every time. I couldn't even finish the first thing. I remember I liked the game. It was really a bad quality looking game, and it always has been. But that's something from my childhood. That's why I got this. That was my first console, and we got rid of it when I was younger, and we got the NES, and I remember NES was so much better quality than the Atari. Just apples and oranges different. I mean, it was just really a lot better quality. The NES, the games were a lot better. But the Atari, that was my first console system. I was really, really young when we had it. Very young. I don't know if my sister, I can't remember if she was alive then or not. I don't know if she was born then. I don't think so, but I can't remember if she was. She'd been a baby when we had it. But she definitely played the NES. But this Atari, a flashback one is just 9 is just horrible. I wouldn't recommend it. I've heard of bad things about AtGames. A lot of bad things, just only bad, to be honest with you. I figured I'd give them a shot just to see how they was. I want to take this back if they let me. If they don't, I'll probably just take a hammer to it. It's just not usable. They said they'd let me take it back. I got it at Walmart for just under, with tax and all, it was over $45. And it's a regular $60 system. This just come out, so obviously Walmart sees that people don't want to buy this either, and they lowered the price down already just to get rid of them, probably the stock that they have. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't carry AtGames stuff anymore, because the Blast, they just come out, and they're supposed to be 20. Walmart had them for $18.88, and I heard that the Blast ones, the games are. Not the arcade ROMs, the horrible ROMs. I wouldn't mind if they had the original Atari ROMs. That's what I want. I heard that they don't have that. It's NES ROMs. Well, if you want to get the NES ROMs, most people have an NES system, or a lot of, you can buy the NES Mini. It would be a lot better quality than AtGames stuff, and the controls would be a much better response. Of course, they might not have all the games that's on the Blast on the NES Mini, but the ones they do would be much better. Plus, you had Mario and all of those. I'd recommend getting the NES Mini before I'd get any of the AtGame products. Sega's supposed to be coming out with one. They originally was going to have AtGames made it, but the next day they changed their mind. So I think AtGames is really going to be in trouble. I wanted to give them a chance. I really did. I've heard a lot of bad things, all bad, but I wanted to give them a chance and try them myself, and I went with an open mind. I went thinking I would really like it. I actually, because this brings back really young childhood memories for me with this, especially that design. The Vader, that's what they call it. I would recommend if you want to play Atari. Atari's supposed to be coming out with the new Atari console. You can wait for that. It's supposed to have all the old Atari games on it, and I can't remember the joystick if they had it or not. You wait for that, or get another company. There's another one company that's going to make a handheld of it. I had a pretty good review. Initial video on it was pretty good. It's not out yet. AtGames does have a handheld. Let me see if I can find it. AtGames does have a handheld. See, it's not even showing on their lineup. Let me see. That's not even showing, yeah. So they don't show anything except these two, and them are sold out. So they might be in trouble. They might not be even making any anymore. They might end up shutting down. They don't even show the blast on there. That's interesting. They do make a handheld, but you can plug it into TV. But I said the quality on the handheld 2017 one was really horrible plugging into the TV. And you could sideload games on them with the SD card, but the handheld, that was doable, and I seen that in action on a video. I haven't bought one to try it myself, but that can be done on the handheld. They have the paddle games. They don't come with a paddle, and there's no way of plugging the paddle into the handheld. So that was just useless, putting the paddle games on it. And they have a volume button on it that you scroll up and down. And it'd be nice if they had that type of button for the paddle. That would work great. It would be great, but they don't have that. I guess the handheld is, with the screen on it, is probably their best system, but I don't know if I'd recommend getting that. Even there's another ones that one, I can't remember the name of it. It's supposed to be coming out soon. That might be a better option. The best option for Atari is if you can get original Atari 2600. That'd probably be the best option. The games aren't that expensive for it, and quality might not be the best. Hooking it up to the TV, because you have to hook it up through coax, but looking to see if you can find somebody to mod it for you, or I have heard that you can mod those, and or you can get an up converter type of thing, plug it in. I haven't seen how it would look, because we gave ours away when I was younger, because we got an NES. I might just end up getting an Atari 2600 original one if I can find a good deal on it, to play some games from my childhood, and just to have it, because it's from my childhood, a childhood memory, a good memory. I remember I used to get really mad playing Donkey Kong on it. Now I probably had a little bit more patience, so I wanted to try it. And I think that'd probably be your best option. Or you get the Atari 7800 would be the absolute best option, because you can play all the Atari 2600 games plus the 7800 games. I don't know if you can use the Atari joystick on it or not. If you can, the original Atari joystick on it, if you can look into that. If you can, the best option would be get the 7800, because you can play 7800 games on it too, and that would be the best option. But or get the Atari. They got Atari Junior 2600. I can't remember the name of it. Atari 2600 Junior, something like that. That looked pretty nice. If you can get any of those modded, especially to have, I don't know if the 7800, if it has AV out, if it just has coax out, you might be able to get those modded. It'd be more expensive in money, but that would probably be your best option to play Atari games. Maybe when their new console's out, it might do good, but it's not out, so I can't tell you if it's good or not yet. I know you can get emulators, or the cheapest way would be to get an emulator on your computer, or some system that you already have probably might have Atari games on it. Look into that. I wouldn't get any AtGames products, so I wanted to give them a chance, but it just didn't work out. I'm gonna see if I don't know if you can see this game list on here or not. I'm gonna see if I can find that car game. The name of it was just completely useless. It's a space game too, and I can't remember the name of that one. Maybe Star Masters or something like that. That was completely unusable. Sky Diver, that wasn't it. Something about night and the car game, and I can't remember the name of it. Night Driver, that's the car game, Night Driver. That was completely unusable too on there. It wouldn't work with the joystick. It just wouldn't move it either all the way one way or the other. And there were some other games that actually did work pretty good. The horse racing game, and the only thing you had to do was jump and hit the. So that wasn't too bad. I come in first on that, so that wasn't too bad. Pitfall, hit or miss on that. It wasn't very responsive enough to play it. You could play it somewhat. Wasn't very responsive though. There were some other games. One other game was okay. Asteroids wasn't too bad. You see that right here. That wasn't. If you can see the list here on this video, that wasn't too bad. That was playable. I did pretty decent on that. I didn't try every game on it. I'm just so, just frustrated with it. The basketball game just wasn't very good. There's another game that was played very playable, but overall, I wouldn't recommend it. Spending that much, even $45, the discounted price at Walmart, I wouldn't recommend getting it because it's a horrible experience. It'll give you nightmares. I'm telling you, it's a bad experience. And it looks like sold out on everything on their website. It looks they might be in some trouble. I know John Hancock did a review, and the one he reviewed was on the blast was the one that came out in the stores. It was different ROMs loaded. That's a false advertisement on that, and he gave a review for the Atari Flashback 9, and he gave it a decent reviews on it. He's probably a better gamer than me, the immortal John Hancock on YouTube, if you want to find his stuff. He was pretty good review on the Flashback 9, but just a lot of people just don't like AtGames, is that they make a horrible product. What makes this useless is they have this SD card slot, but you can't load ROM games on it. That like the original Pac-Man isn't on it, Atari Pac-Man and stuff. So if you want the original ROMs, that you can't load it onto this. You can load it from the, like I said already, from the handheld one they have, the 2017 version. It has a screen on it, but even then, I don't know if I would. It's not worth getting that one. There's other ways. If you got the ROMs, you can just use the emulator. Probably be best, and order on eBay a controller that plugs into the computer. I might give a review of one that I ordered on eBay, pretty good one, sometime. And I just wanted to make this